Our webinar today is entitled Essentials of Navigation in SAP PLM 70X. This webinar will, through system demonstrations and examples, highlight the essential aspects of navigation in SAP PLM 70X. The webinar discussion will focus on menu structure and tailoring to specific user groups, demonstrate the available options for searching, demonstrate the use of favorites, recently accessed, and last changed, and look at the use of Personal Object Worklist to keep track of key objects of interest. In addition, the webinar will demonstrate the use of PLM Object Navigator and provide examples of the kind of information that can be derived, including where used list, product structure, and related change numbers, and the list of features to be demonstrated goes on. My name is Ralph Davis, Marketing Manager at LeverX, and I will be the moderator for today's webinar. Before we begin our topic for today's webinar, let me briefly introduce you to LeverX. LeverX assists companies increase business value by leveraging existing investments in SAP solutions. LeverX is an SAP services partner and an associate member of the PLM Alliance. LeverX delivers strategic, functional, and technical services in the areas of SAP product lifecycle management, portfolio and project management, and related solutions. LeverX offers services for business, process, and strategic consulting, solution architecture development, implementation, planning and execution, application management support, and on-site and remote delivery models. In addition, LeverX provides services for SAP mobile application strategy, development, and implementation, as well as a broad set of SAP technology, including SAP NetWeaver, Workflow, Business Warehouse, and Business Objects. I'm pleased to introduce our presenter for today's webinar, Mr. Eric Stada, Director, PLM Consulting at LeverX. The agenda will proceed as outlined. Eric will discuss the navigation essentials in SAP PLM 70X, and then through a demonstration we'll give a demonstration of those same navigation capabilities in SAP PLM 70X. And then after that, for the time remaining, Eric will handle questions from the listeners, participants on the webinar. So at this point, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Eric. Okay. Eric, let me change this to you.
Okay, very good.
If you'll share your desktop or your...
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you very much, Ralph. Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. So today, as Ralph has mentioned, we're going to go through a number of kind of what I call essentials in the SAP PLM 701, kind of go through the navigation. So as Ralph kind of discussed there, let me get situated here. Okay, we're going to talk about menu structure, specific groups. We're going to talk about searching, use of favorites, recently accessed, last changed, Personal Object Worklist. We'll look a little at the Object Navigator, talk a bit about BCV, the Business Context Viewer, talk about tailoring the you can also, and thumbnails and previews, and making use of standard capabilities for filtering and exporting results. So that's a lot of stuff to cover in 1 hour. So what my goal today is to give you kind of a, I have some slides, and I'm going to do a lot of demonstration in the system. So to kind of give you a really good understanding of how navigation works and how you go from place to place in the PLM 70X environment. I say 70X because this is relevant for 701, 702. So everything I'm going to show today is relevant for both releases. And the goal here is to kind of answer some common questions as we've gone out to a lot of customers and talked with a lot of people implementing PLM 7, is that, these are kind of common things that the customers have asked. So I wanted to kind of cover those things and actually go through the system and show them. So kind of give a deeper understanding of what it's like working in the PLM 7 environment. Along the way, we'll talk a little bit, or hopefully you'll see there's a vast difference between working in the SAP GUI and working in the PLM 7 environment, the NetWeaver business client. And along the way, we'll just talk about some tips and tricks. You know, things like, hey, how can I, you know, adjust the "You Can Also" button, you know, over here in the corner. So I'll show you things like that. How can I set up my own personal query? So, as mentioned, I have a few slides we'll go through, and then actually I'll slide for each kind of section, and then we'll actually go in the system and look at these things. Okay. So the first one we often get is kind of about the menu structure in PLM 7. Is the idea that, you know, we have out of the box it's delivered with the standard menu structure, as you kind of see over here on the right. So this menu structure may not be relevant to all the different user groups in your organization. So one of the things you always want to do with the implementation is tailor it down, you know, have eliminate the noise and simplify as much as possible. So this includes the menu. So if you're not going to be using, let's say, product structures and product assemblies in your environment, why not remove them from the menu or eliminate them from the menu? So what I want to do is kind of demonstrate the possibility, give you an understanding of how those menus work in the system quickly. The other idea here is that not only from the menu structure side that we can tailor it to specific user groups, we can also insert things like GUI transactions or URL links. And the goal here is to create kind of a common unified environment for users to access SAP data and systems. So I say and systems, this might be external systems outside of SAP, URL links to, you know, external points. So it can become kind of a common unified environment for groups of users to work in, that they can get to the SAP data, they can get to SAP transactions, they can get to external systems, external URL links. Okay, so let's take a look in the system actually at that. So when I talk about this menu structure here, this is the kind of the standard delivered role that we have in the system. As when you log in and set up PLM 7, you'll see this. You'll see the materials, see the work overview, the materials, the BOMs, the product structure assemblies, etc. Now, for let's say we're going to do an implementation, and you know, the implementation is going to focus on, let's say, materials, bill of materials, docs, and some change management stuff, and not quite yet ready to tackle some of this product structure or BOM synchronization stuff. So just to give you an idea in the background, this menu over here is controlled by a security role in SAP. Okay, so if I'm going to go in the back-end system, and I'm actually going to go into this role, kind of role management here. Now what I do is there's a role called the standard delivered role that you're going to see when you're working with PLM 701 is this SAP PLM Web UI discrete menu role. Now I've copied that role because I want to make changes to it and I don't want to change the standard menu. But what I can do is I can go into this role here, and what you're going to see is our menu, because the role here controls the total menu layout. So over here I could say, well, I'm not interested in the product structures. I'm not interested in product structures assembly, object access right now, and I'm not interested in the synchronized stuff. So I'm going to delete that. Now, additionally, with this menu, maybe one of the other things to talk about is maybe I want to use the new PLMW, the Web UI transactions, but I also have some existing reports or things that I have in my back-end SAP system that I'd like to use. Now to do that, you can see in here we can insert a transaction. So we can have, like say in our bill of material here, we have create BOM, change BOM, display BOM. Now these are the new web PLM 7 transactions, but maybe I want to include my where used transaction from the back-end SAP system. Now this is just a single level where used type transaction I want to include that in for the users, but this is the standard GUI one. So now I can assign that there. And maybe I want to include a link. You know, I can include lots. Actually, you can include whole variety of different transactions, reports, URL links in here in the menu. So again, it's this concept of making a kind of a unified environment that users can go to access all sorts of data, whether it's the new web UI transactions, it's SAP GUI transactions, or even external web type things or external systems.